ahead and take that into where we're at now. And so far, up to this point, it's been beautiful with the attack mindset.
I hadn't thought about that. I mean, typically we'll rotate those guys inside anyway. He hasn't. There's no indications of whether the production's. It's hard for me to tell production's going to be up or down based on the number of reps he's going to get. I mean, he'll be in a rotation. Hopefully, we'll find 4 or 5 defensive tackles to get them all in there.
Good morning, Kansas City. This is New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Thank you so much for joining us. Stephen St. John here. What's up, Kansas City? Today on the show, we will chat with MLB insider Buster Olney. We'll talk to Gary Dieter in studio. No Sherm. Where's Sherm?
Not sure. I don't have that answer for you. I don't know where he is.
He just said no?
Dieter actually said no for him.
Oh.
Sherm doesn't like to participate much on the text thread.
Right.
So yesterday it was.
That's unfortunate. We spent several hours together at the Italian festival. Me and Sherm and his dad.
How was it?
It was good. Gary came up there later with his wife and kids, but I think it was too hot for them. They didn't stay very long. But Sherm was there for at least a couple of hours. We ate. We had drinks. I met his dad. It was just me, him, his dad, the Cooch, Mike Mange.
Is Sherm a chip off the old block?
His dad reminded me of my dad, kind of. So, I liked him. We got along. It was good. We had fun. His dad loved it.
I bet.
His dad bought a T-shirt. They gave him another shirt. He ate. He drank. We had fun. Yeah, we're Sherm. What's it say?
We'll find out.
No Sherm. Gary Dieter.
Dieter said, I'll be there. Sherm won't.
Okay. We'll see.
Yeah.
And then Jesse Newell from the Kansas City Star. Good day for Jesse Newell to talk about practice yesterday and comments from all the coaches. A lot of coaches. Players, coaches, all of it. I enjoy hearing coaches talk quite a bit, the assistant coaches. And so we'll get into that and play some clips for you. Talk some football. And also, man, what a buzzkill that was yesterday to have the Royals game postponed. And we just had one day of Jack Caglione, and then they took it away from us. I don't like that at all. That was, well, like I said, that was a buzzkill. But we'll double up today, and we'll get a doubleheader. So hopefully that'll be good. So we'll get hopefully a double dose of Cags.
Yeah, I was afraid they're going to do something stupid like move it to September or something. I'm glad we get a doubleheader today.
Don't be afraid.
Nah.
We don't preach fear on this show. Don't be afraid.
A little fear's good.
It's good that we will see 2 games today, one at 12:45 and then one at 6:45. So time to grab something to eat in between and lock down and watch the Royals hopefully beat the Cardinals. Caglione was scheduled to play right field last night, and so I'm sure he'll be back out there for at least one game. And I know there's a good amount of people, Royals fans, that made the trip over to St. Louis only to have the game canceled. Hopefully they were able to adjust their schedules and stay a night in St. Louis and then get up and go to 2 games. turn a negative into a positive. So that will be very exciting today, as we'll see Noah Cameron start game one for the Royals with his 1.05 ERA entering his fifth big league start. And then the return of Cole Reagan's game two. So that's a double dose of excitement right there. We get to see Noah Cameron hopefully continue to lock down a spot in the rotation and say, look, I ain't going back to Omaha. All right? It's not happening. I'm going to pitch so well that you can't take me out of the rotation. And then hopefully we'll see Cole Reagan's healthy. It'll be his first start since May 16th. So it's been a minute since we've seen him out there. He allowed 4 runs to the Cardinals in 5 innings at Kauffman Stadium. He did make one rehab start over the weekend with AA Northwest Arkansas. Ignored the stats. He gave up a bunch of runs in 3 2/3 innings, but just going out there to make sure he was healthy. He said that everything felt really good in his rehab outing. Velocity was in a good spot. Off-speed was where he wanted it to be. He said results weren't ideal, but that happens. Not looking into it too much because the approach is different. But he said everything felt right where he thought it should be. Normal soreness the day after. Nothing in the groin. And that's a good sign. Sounds like my wife describing me. Nothing in the groin. And that's a good sign. What? She said it, I didn't. I don't know what to tell you. So go Royals. That will consume most of my day. And, man, it's just a treat when the schedule works out, because if this was tomorrow, I wouldn't be able to watch nothing. Not a damn thing. For good reasons. I'll be emceeing the post-tournament events for the Sheffield Place Golf Tournament, something that's near and dear to my heart. I'm part of the advisory board for Sheffield Place. And so I'll be out there. Also with Attorney Lance, a good friend of the show and a friend of Talib, a friend of mine. He'll be with me out there.
Part of our legal counsel team
yeah.
that we have here on
He doesn't want to be, but he's part of mine. And so we'll have that. I'll have that during the day. Then I'm going to go home, change my clothes, pick up the missus, and we're going to head out to Jazoo. We support the zoo, Jake, especially when Richie St. John and Dolowite are playing out of Jazoo.
That's awesome.
You ever been to Jazoo?
I never have. They don't allow my kind out there.
Oh, yes, they do. Dude, first of all, it's for a great cause. And second of all, it's like
quite the party.
Multiple musical acts. Freaking, it seems like 50 to 75. Every restaurant in town's got something set up. Beverages.
I hear about it every year.
I've gone once. It was overwhelming. It was such a good time.
Yeah, I hear it's just a blast.
Yeah. And so we're gonna go obviously to support Richie, but it'll be fun. It's been way too long since I've been to the zoo. Having worked at the zoo before, it feels like home. So I look forward to that. And then, of course, Saturday night, I'll be the MC for Guns N' Hoses at Municipal Auditorium. I will not be the ring announcer. I'll be the MC. I'll be on a stage, on a platform on a stage, on camera. And literally between every round, I'll either interview someone or promote something that's being raffled off or say something. So if you get sick of me on the radio, you will be good and sick of me on Saturday night. But that's all right. It's for a great cause. I love working with Guns N' Hoses. And you've heard many times me tell the story of my uncle Richie, who was a Kansas City, Kansas police officer who passed away after a nearly 8-year battle with ALS. And that's why I'm involved in the ALS Association. But we support the first responders. It's something that's important to us. And also, this is for SAFE, which is a wonderful fund and organization that supports the families of our fallen first responders. and that's very, very important. And so you can come out and watch 13 fights. You heard some of the fighters on the show yesterday. 13 fights between local firefighters and law enforcement. And the fights are tremendous. They work very hard. They train very hard. And it's the action is awesome. Tickets are only $25, and you buy tickets at Ticketmaster and at the Municipal Auditorium box office. I'll see you there on Saturday night. Let's go. So, also one other note on the Royals, because this is a wild race in the American League Central. And so not only will the Royals be battling, it looks like 3 other teams all summer long in the Central, but a nice group of teams vying for the wild card spots. But the Royals, and look, hey, don't get me wrong, there's work to do. There's a lot of work to do if they plan on winning the division. And maybe that's just not going to happen. Maybe Detroit's just that good where they'll keep everyone at arm's length. But I've seen enough in baseball to where in June there's no lead that's safe. Injuries can happen. Teams can get hot. Teams can get hold. Now, what did I just say? What can happen? Injuries. You never know. And so right now Detroit is 41-22. The Minnesota Twins are 34-27. Cleveland's 33-27, and the Royals are 32-29. So Minnesota's 6 back, Cleveland's 6.5 back. The Royals are 8 games back. But something happened to one of those teams ahead of the Royals that could make a pretty big difference in this race. The Minnesota Twins, we're complaining about losing Cole Reagans for a couple of weeks. And I hope, I hope he's back, and knock on wood, because we thought he's okay after he missed that one start, and he came back and re-aggravated things again, and here we are. But Minnesota Twins right-hander Pablo Lopez, he's expected to miss 8 to 12 weeks with a grade 2 strain in his right shoulder. The Twins said last night that he strained the teres major muscle in his pitching shoulder. That forced him to leave his start Tuesday against the A's. And so the earliest he'll be able to resume throwing is 4 weeks. So right there, 4 weeks, nothing. Shut down 4 weeks. Right now, he's got a 2.82 ERA. And he's been terrific. One of the better pitchers in the American League. And you lose him right now, 8 to 12 weeks. 2 or 3 months gone. And so that can make a difference. And so it could be a war of attrition, man. It's about staying healthy. And the Royals are going through it right now. They lost Seth Lugo for a little bit. They've lost Cole Reagans for a while. They have Lucas Erceg on the IL. And, they've been able to overcome that. But that'll leave a mark. You want to get him back soon. And hopefully that back problem is a minor one. And when he comes off the IL, he'll be good to go. And of course, the ballad of Hunter Harvey. Hunter, we hardly knew ye. Where are you? I mean, seriously. We don't even get updates about him. So I hope he comes back. I'd love to see him pitch again. Those few pitches we've seen from him in a Royals uniform have been good. He's been effective. But you get it, right? If you consider the lack of consistency offered up by the offense combined with losing Lugo for a while, losing Reagans for a while, losing your best reliever for a while, they've been able to keep their heads above water. And they're still within striking range. Now let's see the Twins do it. The Twins, they have Byron Buxton, so they're always going to be dealing with some kind of injury problem. And Carlos Correa, hell, they ran into each other. Knocked each other clear for a week. But losing Pablo Lopez, that hurts. That hurts for that length of time. That's just no normal IL stint. 8 to 12 weeks. So mark that down, Jake. On Thursday, June 5th, we'll see how they handle losing Pablo Lopez for an extended amount of time. See how that affects the race in the AL Central after the Twins had elevated to second place. Lots of sound from out at Arrowhead yesterday. We'll hear from Steve Spagnuolo. We'll hear from Matt Nagy. We've got some Dave Merritt. There's some others. We got Andy Heck. Dave Tobe spoke. I want it all. This is a good list. We'll get even more. That's all we're going to do is play Chiefs sound over and over again. I love Chiefs. It gets me fired up. I love coaches talking. It makes me think of football. Football makes me happy. Chiefs make me happy. You know? Royals make me happy. A lot of things make me happy. You listening to the show makes me happy. You know? So we'll have that for you. What we need to do, we don't, I'm not going to tell you your business, but there were some things being thrown around, things being said about Sua Mataia. Some lofty praise being passed his way. And
was it Louis Riddick?
No, Chiefs coaches.
I'm just kidding.
And you got
smart ass.
You pay attention to what they have to say. At least I do. And so, I've been wanting to hear what they've had to say about Sua Mataia making that transition to guard. And you've heard plenty of people on the show talking about who they think is going to be the guy. I mean, Grunhard says he's still going with Caliendo. Matt Derrick says don't give up on Hunter Norzad. And I think the Chiefs, best case scenario, their former second-round pick, Sua Mataia, Kingsley Sua Mataia, seizes that spot and shows that he wasn't a wasted pick. So, got that going for you, too. We'll play that sound. Interesting stuff from out at Arrowhead Stadium. But right now, we'll take a break. Get your mind right. It's doubleheader day, June 5th. We're going to have some fun today. Back after this on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Welcome back to the show. Pete Sweeney from Arrowhead Pride and others posted some good video of Josh Simmons going through some individual drills. So he continues to look ahead of schedule. That was good. As Pete wrote, the biggest development from Wednesday was the status of Josh Simmons, who for the first time with the Chiefs participated in team scrimmage drills. Offensive line coach Andy Heck confirmed he came out of practice well. That's another clip we want to play from Andy Heck, him talking about Josh Simmons. Look, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be ready for training camp. I don't know anything, okay? But what I do know is that's good news. That's a positive. The fact that he's doing this much this soon. Because I'll be honest with you, I had just, in my mind, written off seeing anything from him in OTAs and even really the mandatory minicamp coming up. I thought, we might see him standing with his helmet somewhere and doing nothing during this time, and then cross your fingers and hope we could see him at some point in training camp. Is that far off from what you thought? I mean, that's where I was. If a talent like that falling all the way to number 32, I thought, well, that must mean most teams think he's still far away and he's not even going to be a factor maybe until training camp. But we're clearly headed towards a redshirt year. And then that makes sense. I'm just going to throw a what if out there. And I don't know. But now at least I think we could at least discuss it. What if he's good to go? What if he's ready to go? I mean, the Chiefs could end up coming out of this smelling like a rose. And that would be wonderful. Because those have not been and were not my expectations. Until Andy Reid dropped that little nugget last week. He's ahead of where I thought he'd be. And then you see him yesterday like, oh. And Pete said it. I know you butt heads with Pete and you question everything he says and you wonder if he's just got his mind on the Knicks and who the next coach is going to be. But I think he's locked in. When he says the biggest development from Wednesday was the status of Josh Simmons, that's a pretty big story, Jake. And when Andy Heck is talking about him looking good, again, there you go. Because they don't have to say anything. Like, you know what? Hey, we're taking it slow. We'll see.
I do. I mean, I hesitate because what can you really see out there?
Moving around?
Yeah,
He wasn't supposed to.
That's absolutely a thumbs up and a plus. And I think Andy Reid's weight and what he had to say.
Andy Heck, what they have, because they don't have to say nothing.
Right, they don't. But also, it's like he's not really going. I mean, they're not full padded. They're not that.
He wasn't supposed to be doing anything, though.
I agreed, and it's all thumbs up. It's all thumbs up. But what I'm saying is, we're not seeing him in football situations yet.
Right, we're not seeing anyone in football situations.
Right, and that's where my hesitation lies. It's great news, all positive stuff.
Sure, hesitate, but also realize he's ahead of schedule.
Sure.
This is.
But these are guys running around in their underwear.
Right. Well, he wasn't supposed to be doing any of this.
And it's all thumbs up that he is.
Pete says it was the biggest development. I'll convey to him that you think he's full of it.
Please do. I can do that on my own.
Okay. And then the other thing that Pete Sweeney mentioned, and Pete appears on this show Mondays and Fridays, so we'll talk to him tomorrow, unless he cancels on us too.
No, he'll be here. Not here, but he'll be on.
Well, he'll be here?
I don't know.
Bring him in.
You want me to get him in?
Why not? Is Grenhard going to be here? Have someone come and see me. I get lonely in the studio.
Stan will be here.
Well, good. It'd be good to see Stan.
Always good to see Stan.
Stan cares enough to come in here.
Tim does not.
No. How far is Pete away? I mean, if it's like a huge ask, if he's having a haul ass across town, I get it. But if people should take it as a compliment, if I want them in studio to say hello face to face.
Yeah, we like to get visitors.
That's all. That's all I'm saying. Pete said the second big development, and I'm looking at video right now, was getting eyeballs on Rashee Rice. He was sick for the viewing portion last week of practice. And Pete writes, Rice looks just as Patrick Mahomes described, a lot like he did last season. And that's a positive. That's a plus. All right, so we'll get to the Andy Heck comments a little bit later because I do think those are significant. We have some other clips that are already sliced and diced, so we'll throw those at you.
I have Heck on Kingsley if you want that, and I have Tobe talking about punt returners if you want that. They're available. It's at your disposal.
Should we play it now, or can I sit on them like
Sit on?
a egg
Play them
went to the hatch?
Next segment. You got Buster at the top, or we can move him to 7:30.
7:30. I think that's a big story. I mean, following Suamataia in the left tackle situation, like that's.
I think that's the biggest story.
Those two. That's gonna.
I think
we could talk
I think left
to
guard
her,
is a bigger story than left tackle, honestly.
but they're together. I mean, I'm just
sure. Yeah.
It's
They're two different positions, but
right.
the left
But
side of
the
the
offensive line,
100%.
because also you'd like to get some time for the guys to play together,
Yeah.
and get some chemistry. We could talk to her blue in the face or red in the face because it's the Chiefs about, hey, Mahomes throwing the ball deep and the wide receivers and this and that. If they don't protect him better, if they don't give him enough time, everything else, it's a moot point. And so, yes, the biggest story, all these, and look, Rashee Rice, that's a big story too. But the biggest story is, does someone go out and just seize the guard position to replace Joe Thuney? Because I feel like the safe guy is Caliendo. Hey, he's serviceable. We can get through with him. Does someone go out there and take power and show like, no, not only am I serviceable, but I can be really good here. And that's what we're hoping about Suamataia.
Right.
And then left tackle.
We hope he's like Stalin and crushes his opponent.
Right. What's it's a big deal. And so we'll play those clips a little later, please.
Yeah,
Let's hear from Spags.
Spags.
You like Noel Williams, one of the draft picks that,
I love him.
Speaking of Joe Thuney, that fourth-round pick that they acquired for Joe Thuney, they used that to move up 10 spots to take Noel Williams, cornerback. Here's what Spags was had to say when he was asked what he's seen from the rookie corner.
Yeah, don't have a tough day today. There's just a couple things that stick out. But what I really like about him is he's a student of football. Coming from Cal, that Cal had really good players on that team. They had a lot of them. And I thought, for the most part, when we Zoom called or interviewed guys, I thought they were really sharp football-wise. So it begins there with all the things we do. We'll find out a little bit more about him when we get pads on and we can go live. But he's done a pretty solid job for us right now.
Spags was also asked about the other three rookies, edge rusher Ashton Gelati, defensive tackle Omar Norman Lott, and linebacker Jeffrey Bossa.
Yeah, when all four of those guys kind of came in, and I was happy to get all four of them. I thought they were all similar in that when we evaluated them and talked with them, that they all have football, get it. They all love the game of football. I really like, I think Austin is a real good knee bender. I think Omar's got a lot of power to him. Jeff is a change of direction guy and really smart. And the rookie, I don't know if you guys noticed in the rookie minicamp, we put him at Mike linebacker. We knew he was going to be outside, but he learns the whole defense. Yeah, I thought he did a great job at that. And then we talked about Noel. So I'm hoping all those guys will help us. We'll see.
We will see, won't we? Spags was also asked about the workload for Omar Norman Lott.
I hadn't thought about that. I mean, look, we rotate those guys inside anyway. He hasn't. There's no indications of whether the production's. It's hard for me to tell production's going to be up or down based on the number of reps he's going to get. I mean, he'll be in a rotation. Hopefully, we'll find 4 or 5 defensive tackles and get them all in there.
All right, here's one more from Spags. Here, he was asked about Shamari Connor and what role he sees for Connor in this defense.
Well, listen, I think Shamari's having a really good offseason here. This is the 4th year in the system, and he's doing really good in it. I think he's valuable. I mean, he's been playing nickel. He's been playing both safety spots. You saw today, every once in a while, Trent slips inside there, and Shamari will go back there to safety. He's one of those guys, I think, that needs to be on the field for us. We just have to find out, based on the other pieces, where most of his snaps will be.
All right. Let's play a couple from offensive coordinator Matt Nagy. We've talked about the Chiefs wanting to emphasize throwing the ball down the field, stretching the defense. Here Nagy was asked how committed they are to the downfield game.
We talk about talk is cheap, right? You can't talk about it. You gotta be able to do it. So I think it's a mentality of every day in practice, trying to make sure you stress not only the importance of talking about it, but then doing it, in practice. And there was times where we were, but I think it's our job as coaches to emphasize it more, and then let these guys go out there. And then their mindset too is, cutting it loose every now and then. And not everyone is going to be perfect and incomplete, but it's equity.
Matt Nagy was also asked if Patrick Mahomes was protected well enough last year to be able to effectively go downfield.
Going back and looking at the tape, what I thought was interesting was there was times where maybe we think that didn't happen, where he wasn't trusting it, but then there's times where he was, and there was a breakthrough. I think it was more the consistency, Adam, of matching the two together. So there's times where there's great time to throw the ball and the route wasn't open, and some of that is because of the scheme that we put in, or vice versa. A guy's open and we miss it. So as long as we can show those guys the why part of understanding that, then we go ahead and take that into where we're at now. And so far, up to this point, it's been beautiful with the attack mindset.
One more from Matt Nagy, or maybe a couple more, huh? Or one more. Here he was asked what he saw when watching Josh Simmons' college tape.
College film, phenomenal. Really liked it. You can see athleticism, recovery if he gets beat. And you talk to his coaches that he has, and you just listen to the want that the kid has. Obviously, he had the injury, so it dropped him a little bit. But I've really been impressed with his professionalism since he's been in this building. He's really locked in. He's doing everything he can do up to what he's allowed to do with the injury, and so that's all he can do. And he's got a great group of guys on that O-line, and Coach Heck and Coach Matei teaching him. So he's in a great spot, and I think we just got to keep him going, arrow up. But man, his film is really good.
All right, that's Steve Spagnuolo and Matt Nagy speaking with the media yesterday. We'll have more a little bit later on. Up next, we're going to hear Brian Kenny and the fellows at MLB Now talking about Jack Caglione and his major league debut, and they discuss his ceiling as a power hitter. So we'll get you going for that because it's doubleheader day. How about that? You like that? I do. Back after this on WHB. All right, this was an interesting clip I'll play for you. I played yesterday, just listening to it, going through different reactions yesterday. I listened to this when I was at home. I said, I'll play this on the show. This is a good discussion between Brian Kenny, who I think is a very good baseball mind. I enjoy listening to Brian Kenny, host of MLB Now. And he had Joel Sherman and Anthony Recker. They used to call, back in school, Jake Recker, which was a weird nickname.
Damn near killed her.
See, you didn't need to take that next step, Sometimes you just hold the line and it's all good. You don't need to bull China shop. You get it. Damn it. Here's Brian Kenny, Joel Sherman, and Anthony Recker discussing Cag's highly anticipated MLB debut. Now, they were talking about this yesterday. I don't know if they realized if this was before or after they announced that the game was postponed for last night, but they're talking about this yesterday. They were talking about Cag's MLB debut. Let's listen to what they had to say.
Much anticipated debut of one of the top prospects in baseball. Anthony, this kid is huge.
I mean, I'll tell you what, he's a monster. It was 6'5", 240, I think, of the numbers I've seen, but he looks bigger than that, to be honest with you.
Jack Caglione. Again,
he's going to hit.
Yeah, the first couple of at-bats, it just looked like, hey, have you seen Major League fielding before? Like, the Cardinals are a very good fielding team. You saw Victor Scott. You saw Nolan Arenado twice. But his at-bats look quality.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely. I mean, that first ball he hit in general, I mean, that's a knock against most big league defenses. Mm-hmm. Victor Scott made a heck of a play.
And look, even the lineup 98, but then 112, almost 114. He's hitting it hard. They said on the broadcast too last night, Joel, normally I dismissed this, but I really believed it watching it, that like him being brought up kind of energized the club. Yeah. It did feel like they came from behind, the Royals did, and won that game last night.
I hope that it's energy and a good player that they're ultimately looking for. Major League Baseball's hard. We're still waiting for the Jackson Holiday explosion, right? Yeah. Like it's hard up here. Not many people are Jackson Merrill. There's a lot of Jackson Holidays, right? Who do it. And this is a team that has the pitching to get back to the playoffs. Yeah. They have not scored. They went into yesterday with 34 homers. It was the fewest in the major leagues. And by the way, 7 came in one game against the Orioles. Going into last night, they had played 17 games since then and had 6 homers. They had fewer homers in that period than in one game. They're not getting as much. Bobby Witt's still a great player. He's not hitting the ball over the fence as much. I think they expected more from Pasquantino. Are we beginning to see a real fade from Sal Perez? I wouldn't ask, you hope he's part of a solution. But, there's a little bit of a savior thing right now, besides energy. And I think that's problem. Right. With as good as Major League pitching is, they need him to be a good part of this, but they need some of these veteran guys.
Yes.
They traded for Jonathan India and have gotten pretty much nothing, from what they thought they were going to get. Other guys have to step up, and he needs to be part of the band instead of the leader of the band.
Well, that's why when I keep hearing Roman Anthony moves everybody off the board. Everybody's like, hold on. Maybe eventually, right. It's a Rob Parkerism. Again, pump the brakes a little bit. Could be a great player, but you expect it right away?
The screaming in spring training was, if you don't put Christian Campbell on the team, you're not serious. Well, they put Christian Campbell on the team.
There he is.
And he's having a lot of problems because Major League Baseball is hard. Yeah. It's hard.
It'll humble you. I think for me, with Jack Caglione, and the thing that gives me a little bit of that I'm excited to see, looking at his minor league numbers, and I don't remember exactly what they were. I read an article about this just the other day. He has a high chase rate. He chases a lot, but the guy makes contact on chase about as well as anyone, and that is impressive. So to me, the bat-to-ball skills are there. It's that other component of, well, just stop chasing, and you're going to hit 350 with 40. I mean, that's the potential that's there. So he's got bat-to-ball, he's got silly pop, and then when you put it all together, it could be that package. Let's not put that all on him right now, though. Mm-hmm. That's too much.
So that was Brian Kenny and Anthony Recker and Joel Sherman talking about Jack Caglione giving more of a national perspective. And I thought that was some reasonable takes there. I like what they had to say. But, look, everyone's fired up to see Cags. And give me a double dose. You know what I don't want to see today? Him play one game and then sit out the second one. Give me 9 or 10 at-bats at Cags. I need his first major league hit today. Let's get that done. Let's move on. He should have had it night one. Let's get it today. Let's see him in right field. You know what? And I'm not going to be, I hope they don't hit it to him. Let's get him going. Get him reps. I'm in. Noah Cameron, Cole Reagans. And those are two important starts. First of all, you want to win. You want to beat the Cardinals, beat St. Louis. Best fans in baseball. Sold out every game. Every game, not a seat to be had. And so you want to beat St. Louis. You want to beat the Cardinals. Incorrect. And then just individually, big starts for Noah Cameron, number one for him, because he's looking to nail down that spot in the rotation. And the door is open after the last couple of performances from Michael Lorenzen. The door is open. Kick it in. And then Cole Reagans, I want to see him pitch and be healthy and look good doing it. And so we can move on from that and not have to worry about that nagging. Hey, look, let me tell you something. You don't want to be thinking about a groin all summer long. You don't want that. You don't want a groin hanging over your head for the months of June and July.
Nope.
But you know what? Then I don't know what you do. Maybe you do. Maybe you're sitting there thinking, you know what? This summer I'd like to have a groin hanging over my head. Well, then go ahead. I don't. I want to have a free mind. I want to be clear of that.
I guess it all would depend on setting.
I don't know.
Whose groin's hanging over my head?
Cole Reagans.
No, we don't want that hanging over our head.
Cole Reagans. Okay. That's
no.
I'm talking about one very specific groin here.
Okay. No.
But I
get that out of the
don't
way.
like to speak for other people. So.
Yeah, there's probably people out there who want Cole Reagans
probably
over their head.
Probably. I don't know. I can't. I can't speak for others. Don't you think we should break for Buster Olney or not?
I do.
I'm waiting for that. Waiting for you to say break. I'd like to.
We can break whenever you want.
I wanted to
about groins hanging over people's
5
heads.
minutes ago. I should have. Yeah. Things always go too far. We'll take a break. Buster Olney from ESPN after this on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
What's up, Kansas City? Jake Gutierrez here. And we all know that our friends at ProBuilt Pool and Patio, well, they can give you expert advice on creating your dream outdoor oasis. They have deals on select fiberglass pools, pool houses, sunrooms, grills, hot tubs, swim spots, so much more. But I'm here to tell you about their cold plunges because I myself got a cold plunge from ProBuilt Pool and Patio. Look, I started out by putting ice in my bathtub, and I graduated onto a feed tank, lugging bags of ice around. Look, the benefits of cold immersion have been proven to reduce muscle soreness, decrease inflammation, which is the common thread amongst a lot of illnesses. It improves your circulation. It burns brown fat. It boosts your immunity. You get better sleep. You boost your metabolism. It increases your dopamine. So many good benefits I've found by cold immersion and getting in an ice tank. But now I have a cold plunge, an Arctic cold plunge, and I got it from ProBuilt Pool and Patio, and you can go check it out as well. Give them a call, 816-786-3893. Ask them for the Iceman special. They'll hook you up. Tell them Jake Goody sent you. You hear Sherman Dieter call me the Iceman. It's because every day I'm in my Arctic cold plunge every morning, 6 minutes, 38 degrees. It's amazing. It's the best way to start your day. And I'm telling you, check it out. Go to ProBuilt Pool and Patio. They're over at 4708 Northwest Gateway Avenue in Riverside, Missouri. Just look for the palm trees. Remember to tell them Jake Goody sent you. I'm telling you, the Arctic Cold Plunge. Go check them out. ProBuilt Pool and Patio. ProBuiltPatio.com. Check them out. Tell them Jake Goody sent you and ask them for the Iceman special.
Welcome back to New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Let's talk baseball with our MLB insider from ESPN, Buster Olney. Good morning, Buster. How are you?
I'm doing great because today is like Christmas and a birthday all wrapped into one. The Caglione bets yesterday were, held off.